podcast is available on Spotify. Just search From the Pavilion End. We are also available on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and on YouTube Podcast. Please show your love by subscribing and following the podcast. And please like the episode and share it with your friends.
Hello and welcome to another edition of From the Pavilion End. We are recording this on the evening of the end of the second test match between India and Bangladesh. India has beaten Bangladesh in both the tests quite convincingly to win the series 2-0. We will talk in details about the Kanpur test especially and also the series. And we look forward to some of the other events that are happening all around the world and also in this series. To discuss all of this, we have Muntakim Dada from Dhaka, and Bikiron and Gaurav has joined us. Gaurav has joined us after a long time to discuss it from Calcutta. So welcome, guys. It's been a fabulous test in Kanpur, which I think if India had not taken that kind of a gamble, we would have been talking about the organizers and their inefficiencies and the scheduling team and probably, all those things. The switch from the external events around this test to the events within the test happened in a matter of, I think, 8 balls. First over of Hassan Mahmood, which fetched 3 boundaries to Yashasvi Jaiswal, and the first 2 balls of Khalid, which were both hit for sixes. Once those 2 balls were hit for sixes, we knew something is on by Rohit Sharma. We'll talk about how somebody could plan some certain things like this. And then secondly, we'll also talk about why it could not be anticipated by the opponents that somebody will plan something like this, right? And then third, we'll see how this impacts the cricket world. Firstly, let me come to Bikiron. Bikiron, tell me, Kanpur as a city and as a ground. I don't know. Have you ever been to that ground?
No, I have not been to the
Okay,
Kanpur.
I have been to that ground. I've studied for 4 years in Kanpur, and I have been to the Kanpur ground few times. And the city is, I'm not going to talk about the city as such, but the ground is one of the less glamorous grounds, less well-managed grounds. I think it is not within the, the easily accessible area of the city. And we found out that the drainage system is still very, very poor in that ground. Whatever be the result of the match and of the series, of the kind of match that happened, the audacity of it, we should not take away the inefficiency of us losing an entire day because the groundsman couldn't get that, some of the wet spots ready. So let's now come to the cricketing aspect of it. Do you think that India did the right thing, first of all, by retaining Bumrah in a 3-man pace attack just after he had played in that first test match, and secondly, opting to bowl first on that first day?
I thought that they will give a rest to Bumrah, but once Bumrah was named in the 15-man squad, it was more or less clear that they are not going to give a rest to Bumrah. They will play him, and they are trying to maximize all the WTC points as much as possible. So that's why they are going with the Bumrah. I think playing Bumrah was not much of a necessity, but a luxury one. So they decided to go with Bumrah, and once Bumrah had played, then obviously the bowling attack much improved much well and all that. After winning the toss, they had two options. The rain forecast was always there. The conditions was overcast in the day one, and the rain forecast was always there on the day two and on the day three. So they had decided that they give the Bangladesh some opportunity to bat on the first day. Usually it's usually the best day to bat on in Indian soil, but they decided that there's some opportunity. Bangladesh couldn't capitalize the opportunity basically, and also it was overcast. Basically, I thought when they decided to bowl Bangladesh on day one, I thought that India is trying to bat only once in this test match. So that's why they are giving the Bangladesh some opportunity to bat on the day one, and then India will pile in the first innings, and then they will try to bowl Bangladesh all out within the 70 or 80 overs.
So let me come to Muntakim Dada. Dada, I remember when we did the series preview, you had predicted that India will win the series 1-0, saying that one of the matches will probably end in a draw, where there will be some weather issues. Believe me, on that second day and the third day, every time when by early afternoon they abandoned the match, the only person I could remember is you, that your words have come so true. Did you anticipate at the end of the third day that it would be a draw?
Not really, because in 2022, at the end of the season, end of the year, we have a couple of in uh, in home soil. Mirpur, there were really less than cricket was played because of rain, monsoon rain, and other things. And at that test match, I think the least we expected that there will be a result. Forget about winning or losing by any team. There will be a result. Even Bangladesh admitted that the players admitted that they were actually looking to play some shots to enjoy the time. And Sajid Khan of Pakistan took 8 wickets in one innings and another couple, or I forgot, four for probably in the second inning. And somehow Bangladesh managed to lose that test even after Pakistan failed to capitalize on their first innings. So that was probably one of the worst but astonishing facts of Bangladesh cricket, that they can lose from anywhere in a test match. So I was thinking about that test match before, when the third day was washed out, and I was pretty sure that India will change the gears, because this is the era of T20, and not only T20. The way England playing the Test cricket nowadays, everybody is so amused with that one. And this is, I think, this is the new version of GG ball or Goti ball, whatever you might say. And I knew that Gautam Gambhir as a coach is a very aggressive one. So does as a captain of Rohit Sharma as captaincy. So I knew that there will be some attack will be there. But I thought that Bangladesh should have uh, could have done a little bit better, in a sense that they forget to how to bowl the negative bowling. They actually bowled in their zones, and whoever scored a 50, Jasasi Jaiswal or KL Rahul or anybody, they had a strike rate of 140, 160, 170. Whatever you might say, in a test match, this is not normal. Not every people can hit you from middle of the bat if you just can bowl in the negative areas. Because today as well, somehow when Mushfiq was trying to change the strike, uh, Indian bowlers was bowling flatter, especially Jadeja, wider of the crease, and it was working. So Bangladesh, that attempt from Bangladesh was missing. They failed to frustrate the Indian batters. Rohit Sharma said, Ashwin said that even Rohit Sharma had a mentality in his mind that if we get bowled down in 230, that's okay for us, because we want to bowl Bangladesh out second time. So I knew that there will be something. 8.22 run rate, I didn't expect that one. I probably expecting something around 6 to 7 runs per over, and probably India will bat till this morning. That was my expectation. Though there was probably forecasting of weather, forecasting of worsening about. But when that happened, I don't know how on earth our management failed to predict that there will be change in shift in gear, and they didn't have any clue that India have changed from plan A to plan B. How we can cope with that one. So it was not uh, strange from me that Bangladesh failed to make a game out of it, because as I said, we had that experience of losing Pakistan in a less than 2 day test match in our home soil, and this is in
Yeah.
an away test
So
match against the number one team. So yeah,
I
this is disappointing, but it was expected from my point of view.
so I'll tell you something. I followed a lot of Bangladeshi press around and YouTube reactions around that time, and most of them were saying that this test is going for a draw. The T20 teams were announced. People are focusing on that. Harsha Bhogle sent out a tweet on the after the lunch during that lunch period. They're saying that I expected India to have covered and taken all the Bangladeshi wickets, and they would then start the match. Harsha Bhogle again tweeted saying that he expects the only way a result could come is if India can pack the rest of the Bangladeshi team with the next 10, 12 overs and then pile up runs in a fast manner. In India did manage to get the rest of the remaining four Bangladeshi wickets in 9 overs. He had said 10 to 12. India got it in 9. Now, what everybody had imagined, including me, was that once India gets that batting, India will play from that point till lunch on day 5. They would probably score around 400, 450, something like that. That would be a 200-run lead, and then they would ask Bangladesh to survive maybe 60 overs or 65 overs, something like that. That was what everybody else had planned. I think the genius of the plan that Rohit Sharma had was that how much time do we need to bowl out Bangladesh? First, get that. So today, in fact, he announced that the plan was that we needed 80 overs. That is what Rohit Sharma had estimated to bowl out Bangladesh again. So if you take out 80 overs, you are remaining with maybe 18 overs of day 5 and around 60 overs of day 4. Okay, so that's basically your around another 70, 80 overs. Out of those 70, 80 overs, India took total of 53 overs in all. And India bowled out Bangladesh for 47 overs, which I think was a bonus because clearly day 5, there was a good partnership between Shadman and Shanto. And I felt at that point, if the coming batsmen, which included Mushfiq, Litton, Mehdi, the probably three best test batsmen of Bangladesh in recent times, and Shakib, who is in his probably last test match, would probably add around 100 more. If they had added 100 more, Bangladesh crosses 200. If Bangladesh crosses 200, the chase for India is around 150. If India chases 150, it can again become something like that Mirpur test, the second test in Mirpur that had taken place the other day. And ball was keeping low. Team failed in the 5th day. I mean, there was the resolve, but people got out because they could not see the plan that had been obviously put for them, like Mominul trying to do that sweep while having a leg sweep, Shadban trying to hit the ball while having a short gully. The gully was kept especially for such a shot. So Bangladesh just could not, the batsmen could not see the obvious plans that were meant for them.
Yeah, it was it a total failure of the execution and the clarity of mind probably because they were caught in two minds, I believe, because the way Shadman played the 100 balls, he was got out in the 101 ball. The 100 ball and the dismissal delivery is totally out of character. Suddenly, a delivery around his seventh or eighth stump, and he just thrown his bat at that. And it was Jasasi Jaiswal who took some blinders in the Test series. It was pretty straightforward for him. Mominul played superbly in the first innings, and he actually nailed every sweep in the first innings. And in the second innings, he caught out in his favorite sweep shot keeping the having the leg slip over there. So I believe they wanted to be a little positive, but they had some, in between situations that, well, why we are playing? Is it for to surviving the game or to make a match out of it? So, especially Shanto, he was pretty good in the reverse sweep, but playing against Jadeja and his start of his spell, if he just stays there, it touches his body, and a conventional sweep would have been a much better option than the reverse sweep. And he made a mess of that. And the moment Jadeja got the wicket of Shanto in his second delivery, I used to say to my colleagues and others that now Jadeja will create a lot of problems to our batting lineup. And that what exactly happened. He got 3 wickets in his 3 overs. So from there on, there is no looking back for India and no looking for back for Bangladesh as well because they failed to execute whatever the thought process was, and they knew that India will try to get the even 200 to 250 runs if they get one session or so. So probably they were looking to be safer and try to get some attack to India that yeah we are also in the game, but yeah it's I think a lot of brain fade moment for many batters over there in the fifth day pitch though it was a technically it was a 2.5 day pitch probably.
Let me bring in Gaurav here. First of all, let me start with the with a a dialogue from Three Idiots, where there is that scene where say we were unhappy, but there was
Two
two
more people were more unhappy.
people
Yeah,
who were more unhappy than us.
then
So obviously, Bangladesh and Bangladeshi fans are really unhappy that they lost a test match where 2 days were washed out. In fact, if I give you a stat, you will be astounded. Together between the first test and the second test, if we add all the overs bowled by India and Bangladesh, it still does not add up to 450 overs that you will get in a 5 day test match. The total overs bowled by both the teams together is 438. But then probably this is only Bangladeshi fans are upset. But the other two people who are even more upset are probably the Pakistani cricketers and the Pakistani fans who are thinking that they lost 2-0 to Bangladesh at home. And now seeing this. But jokes aside, where do you rate this second test win?
I mean, on any other day, a test match victory over Bangladesh is just a normal thing. But then uh, you have to put this into a context. How India turned this game around. I mean, it was going for a dull draw. We have lost 2 and 3/4 of a day in this test match. And despite losing so much time in this test match, how India pulled this miracle, pulled this heist. This has to be one of the finest in Indian cricket's history, I guess. The way Indian team showed the intent and hunger to win Test match. I know a lot of team would have gone with their usual business of let's bat time and let's get some runs under our belt and kind of a stat padding kind of a cricket. But India didn't do that. They took their chance and they took Bangladesh to a very, very surprising position. I mean, Bangladesh probably didn't expect India to go that hard. Um, so I think it's one of the finest in India's cricket history if you look at this context.
Well, I would slightly, differ in that sense that India has pulled out some of the very miraculous home test wins. I will say that match against Australia, where Ravi Ashwin and Akshar Patel batted India close to their, I think it was the second test, the last time Australia was there, which was completely
Yeah, Delhi Test
unbelievable.
match, Delhi Test match, Delhi
Delhi
Test
Test match.
match.
Then that match where India were 175 for 7, and then Kuldeep Yadav and Dhruv Jurel playing his second test match had that partnership. So these were all batting or performing against odds, stiff, very stiff odds. What makes this victory unique is that India was not only battling a subcontinent team in a subcontinent uh, atmosphere, but they were also battling time. And they were also battling the inefficiency of their own management, which had scheduled this match in Kanpur. Do you think that this is what Rohit Sharma has brought? I mean, after having that kind of a gung-ho approach in ODIs, then following it up with that gung-ho approach in the T20 World Cup, this is the Rohit Sharma gung-ho approach in Test cricket? Or is it just a natural evolution that we are seeing?
I would say that this has started with the Virat Kohli era as captain. And Rohit Sharma took it to another level, I guess. If you remember that last Test match where India had their backs to the wall when Shami and Bumrah partnership, and then we had only
Right.
60 overs of play left, and Virat Kohli said that we must make them feel hell out there for 60 overs. And this is kind of a cricket India is playing for the past few years in Test cricket. And Rohit Sharma is a very selfless character. He sets the tone. He had a very successful one-day World Cup playing in this kind of a method. Also in the T20 World Cup, which India won, he had this terrific start given by him. And now in Test cricket also, I mean, it's just a kind of a selfless approach. He walks the talk. I mean, the first two ball he faces, he hits for sixes. And that's how your team gets rejuvenated or excited to follow the captain's path. And let that sink in. That at the start of fourth display, a team was only 3 down, playing the first innings of this Test match, and yet we see at end of this Test match that India won, and with a session and a half still left in this Test match.
Yeah, so basically,
India won it with a session and a half left in this Test match.
no, so basically that if you compress everything, it comes under 2 days. But I wanted to, there is one test that is being linked to this match, which is the Adelaide Test of 2006 Ashes. But there is a huge
Yes.
difference here, because in that Adelaide Test where Shane Warne induced that heist, the second innings was being played when the lunch break had happened on the fourth day. The difference is that this is the case where the first innings was going on. The first innings was going on at the lunchtime. Honestly, I felt that if India would try it, but we did not believe it would be possible to pull it off. Dada, I wanted to ask you something. Why Khalid? Why did Bangladesh drop Nahid Rana and Taskin?
This was pretty strange for me as well, because uh, yeah, there was probably load management, workload management was the issue. Probably nurturing Nahid was an issue because he is a raw talent. But Taskin actually didn't play couple of tests in Pakistan as well. He just played one, and he after a few days break he played one in Chennai. So I thought Nahid would have got a break because of his uh, workload management, and Taskin will play. as we were not getting the service of Shariful in this series. Khaled, to be honest, the BD fans have very allergy on him because he's not the uh, he tries to be a cool and calm type customer, but not like the one you need to be in your arsenal when you are playing against him like India. And unfortunately for him, he was bowling against Rohit Sharma with that kind of a mood when he just
No,
wiped him for a
I
couple of
am,
sixes.
I'm being very honest with you. Okay, your senior most batsman, who is your best batsman, doesn't come in top four, even though he is not keeping wickets. Your best batsman currently, Test's best batsman, which is your wicket keeper, he comes in your lower half. And then your leader of your bowling pack, he misses so many matches. When in when you have come to India with the idea of making your mark, your best and your most experienced batsmen and bowlers should play always. They should give their 120% unless there is a injury which is known. I do not think there was any injury known, right? Another thing I will mention here. When Bangladesh arrived in this in India, the first thing that Shanto said in his press conference is that we have won in Pakistan. We also want to win. We play for winning, which is a very good statement. Which is like you state your ambition. The day Taskin came, he said, "Oh, we have not practiced with SG balls. They are experienced with SG ball, so they have an advantage." That seemed to me like a excuse. If you are coming here, you know SG ball, you are the leader. You should say, yes, we are learning. And then he did not play the second match. Only Hassan Mahmood is like 4 or 5 tests old. If Shariful is not there, Ibadat is not there. What is, and pushing Nahid Rana is a cowardly. I feel very cowardly. Taskin should have played. Whatever happened, I mean, you play with your best team.
That was exactly my point because the when series one in stake, you must try because you already lost a test in Chennai. So there's no point to show the opponent that we are not playing for win or something like that because India is playing Bumrah, keeping in mind that if they win the 5 tests against Bangladesh and New Zealand, they will be automatically qualified for the finals. They will rest Bumrah definitely against New Zealand because in that series, New Zealand will be out of
No, no,
subcontinent country. They will play more of a spinners. So
yes,
they try to
yes,
yes, they try to use their ace, that is Bumrah against Bangladesh, because Bangladesh had that problem, and Bumrah had tremendous record against Bangladesh in all format of cricket because he has a great record in every against every team, but he has some record against Bangladesh because as we were actually was watching the game today, Mushfiq was failing to take the strike against him, and Taijul was playing 3 or 4 overs consecutively against himself. And then I say that he will clean up him, and that's what exactly happened. Taijul was LBW against them, so he has that terrific mind setting against any country, as I said, but against Bangladesh, he shows his all the tricks because probably the we are so close, playing so many games against each other. We can read each other's mind. But against New Zealand, they will be resting himself. And yeah, they tried to get the maximum points from Bangladesh series, and they knew Bumrah can be one of their weapons. And one more thing that you said that our base batters not batting in the top order. Uh, and what we discussed in the first test, there's so many lefties in the first four. That's what exactly happened here today. If you can see the stat of Akashdeep, got his all the wickets in the lefties in the series. And today, when the day was started, the stats were there that he got 0 wickets against the right-handers. He has higher economy against the right-handers. And I was waiting. Then if he can get out any right-hand batsman. That didn't happen today as well. So he is also enjoying bowling against their left-handers, and we didn't do anything to counter that one. So these are the very poor uh, implementing, thinking, and more importantly, managing. I don't know what was the management's thought process was. Before this test, Shakib declared his retirement from Test and T20 cricket. I don't know if they were just thinking about that. This is a special test for him or something like that. But I don't know. Their thought process was not clear to me, and resting both Nahid and Taskin, that didn't make any sense to me because Khaled probably not even a good batter as well in comparison to Taskin and Nahid. So I don't know what was the point of picking him in an away match against India when he has the lesser pace. He just bowls in a mid 130s or something like that.
Right, right. So overall, in the two-test series, what are the things that you take as positives for Bangladesh? I would say I really liked Mehdi Hasan Miraj's bowling. It is an astounding thing that Mehdi Hasan Miraj is only 26-year-old and he has nearly 200 test wickets. I believe Mehdi Hasan Miraj will take at least 400 test wickets. He'll be 400 plus test wicket in that league. Whether he can hone his batting to be a little bit better or not, we'll see. But if he can, I think you have a genuine all-rounder. And he has that competitive spirit. Only thing is that he has to waste DRS a little bit less. I think that will help everyone. So from my side, I think Mehdi Hasan Miraj was good. Anything else that you will take as a positive from this series?
Look, there is very little to find in this kind of test series actually, when you actually played very poor cricket in couple of innings. The first innings of Chennai Test, in the second innings of the second Test as well, and yeah, from there on there was no looking back from the very poor first Test match. Actually, in the first Test match when India was 6 for 144, and then partnership happened between Jadeja and Ashwin. Since they are since then there is no comparison between these two teams. Before that, it was looking like, yeah, something is in our hand. We'll be entertained highly. Even Harsha Bhogle today tweeted that he was very disappointed with the performance of Bangladesh. He expected whatever the situation and whatever brand of cricket India is playing, he expected something more from Bangladesh. That was the exact feeling of every Bangladesh fan who actually follows the cricket, because we are not expecting something like the repetition of Pakistan series, because that was not uh, realistic, and to be honest, that was not going to be happen. But we were looking for fight. I also mentioned in the series preview episode that we want to see the fight, and I said there as well that I am expecting some utility runs and some wickets from Mehdi Hasan Miraj. He actually fulfilled my expectation, but the other people, I believe there was a lot of inconsistency. Mominul's century was pretty good in the first innings because he had probably 90 to 95% control, and that was amazing against the bowlers, likes of bowlers like Jadeja, Ashwin, and Bumrah. He played so well. Then again, in the second innings, when it mattered, he crumbled against the pressure. So yeah, these are the few things. Nahid Rana bowled with heart. Hassan Mahmood bowled with a lot of heart in the first test, especially. He is actually gradually improving and becoming a real red ball player. He's actually proving myself wrong, because when he first came, I thought he's a package for only white ball cricket, and now he's showing that even he can be very vital in that red ball cricket as well. So these are few things, and yeah, Mehdi Hasan Miraj, probably he was the pick of the players, and as I mentioned, Leighton Das was a big flop in this series. As I mentioned in the previous series, that he could be a big flop in this series.
Right, right. Bikiran, coming to the Indian team, apart from Ravi Ashwin showing again that 38 is just a number, it's nothing to do with the age, and Ravi Jadeja showing that he belongs in that critical mass of best ever all-rounders, right in the bang in the center, and he's second to none. And probably the only man who has only faced neutral umpires, and the only man who has not, used illegal means to, alter the condition of a ball. Apart from these two old war horses, what are your Indian takeaways?
Look, the bowling attack is already fantastic, superb. Akashdeep bowled really well with the new ball in the both the matches. He took the two crucial wickets in the first innings, and also in the second innings he got Shadman out when he looked very tight. So Akashdeep looked very impressive in this series. And the bowling attack is already fantastic. I don't need to say anything more about Ashwin, Jadeja, Bumrah and all. Siraj looked a bit off color, but I think it's still okay. Akashdeep looked impressive. And while the batting, there is still some worries, I think, in the batting department. But the positive sign is Kohli looked confident in both the innings in this match. Went for the sweep for the team's need, for the team's shake, and he lost his option. And he missed out on the opportunity to score big runs. And that's absolutely okay. But he looked very confident. Jaiswal is actually scoring runs. He got the man of the match award as well in this match. And Gill made 100 in the first test. He failed today, but Gill is still okay. And Rohit actually failed, but as you said in the earlier that he set the tone of this match with his two sixes in the first innings, his first two balls. So lots of positives. We need to repair some nuts and bolts before the Australia series, before that much awaited the Border Gavaskar Trophy and we will and India will get the ample amount of opportunities to correct that in the New Zealand series and the three matches. So I
Okay.
think there is nothing to worry about.
Gaurav, I want to come to you. Jaiswal, is he probably the best spin player we have had, let's say, since Gautam Gambhir? And second is Rishabh Pant. Do you think that Pant, that the Pant that we see in this series is same as what he was when he left?
I mean, to start with, Jaiswal, I think he's been terrific so far. I mean, yes, he is a very good player against spin bowling, definitely, but not since Gautam Gambhir. I think Cheteshwar Pujara was also a very good player against spin bowling, I must say. He's definitely very good against spin bowling. The way he tackles off spin is really special, because we all know for left-handers, tackling off spinners is a bit difficult task. But the way he handled Mehdi Hasan Miraj in this series has been terrific. The only thing I want to want to see from Jaiswal is a little bit patience sometimes. I think he plays too many shots for my liking. I know, but for this test match, I agree that he had to, but otherwise, I thought in during England series, I thought his tempo was correct. He's aggressive, but he gave respect to the bowlers whenever needed. Looking at to Rishabh Pant, I guess the early signs are very good. Let's see how he goes from here on. But the early signs are definitely good. Whether the old Rishabh Pant, I'm not too sure right now, because it's only two test matches. And in this test match, he didn't have much time with the bat. So let's see. We have to wait till New Zealand series and how he goes there. And then Australia, the big series coming up. But the early signs are definitely very good for Rishabh Pant.
So on Jaiswal, I'll say this much. I don't think you need to worry about his attacking instinct. Despite what you say, his strike rate is only the 70s. Okay, it's not in the 80s like Sehwag. And he has so far has had 20 test innings. In 20 test innings, out of 20 test innings, 10 of them have been 50 plus.
Yes,
And
definitely.
three
No,
centuries.
no doubt about that. His average, the bloke averages over 60 in Test cricket.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
The
but
only thing I can see that he can curve his natural innings sometimes.
yeah,
I can. I know couple of innings which he should have got to three-figure mark or against England,
I mean, Jaiswal has had a tremendous start to his career. He's averaging over 60, 10 scores of 50 or more in his 20, innings. But he's still not second to Don Bradman. He's third. And the guy who
because
is
Kamindu Mendis.
guy who is second is our next topic. Kamindu Mendis, poor guy had played one test match in 2022, then he was dropped and he came back and started playing against Bangladesh. I think the same series where Nahid Rana made his debut, and I think Bangladesh had Sri Lanka down for five down for nothing. And then
57, and he was dropped in the first ball.
57 and he was dropped on the first ball.
Against
And then
24. Yeah,
Dhananjay De Silva and
there is no
Kamindu
looking
Mendis.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a very, somebody who has felt that pain closely of Kamindu Mendis.
He's actually paining everybody now.
Yeah,
He's
so now Kamindu Mendis has given pain to England, and now he's given to New Zealand. Kamindu Mendis is the fastest to 1,000 runs in a long time. He has 9 scores of 50 or more in 13 innings. Insane. 9 scores in 13 innings. Out of that 9 scores, 5 are hundreds. So let me talk about the Sri Lanka versus New Zealand Test series. Everybody was expecting New Zealand. New Zealand usually punches way above their weight, and when they come to India, we'll probably see them. But New Zealand against this Sri Lanka team, which has had a very revitalizing win in England, nobody gave them a chance of blanking New Zealand 2-0. Of course, Kamindu Mendis, Dhananjay De Silva, Prabhat Jayasuriya, all of them played a hand. My question to Bikiron, first of all, Bikiron, you are a stats guy, and Kane Williamson, for the first time in his life, got out twice on the same day against Sri Lanka. Kane Williamson, despite his name within a Fab Four, that for a long time, has had zero impact in overseas tours. Initially, it was against India, the hard tours, India, Australia, England. Now it is even to Sri Lanka. Is he now worth of being called within a Fab Four, this guy?
So that's fine, but I'd like to say that Kane is obviously the weakest among the Fast Four, and his record is his away record is totally based on the flat roads in the UAE, flat roads on the Pakistan, and the weak attacks he does in the UAE. So basically, in these, if you take away these two countries, his average drops down to the 35 or 36, I think. Even in the Bangladesh, the people will say that he got runs in the Bangladesh and he averaged that. But remember that his average was only 34 in the Bangladesh. In the last two New Zealand had played in the Bangladesh. So his record.
Gaurav, agree that Kane Williamson is probably the weakest amongst the Fab Four, given that he cannot prevent his team now from losing, pathetically to Sri Lanka.
I won't say that. Definitely, his away record has been very poor of late, especially his record in India, Australia, England.
His away record has been poor for a long time. Initially, we only said it is against the tough teams. Now his away record is poor against somebody like a Sri Lanka.
No, Sri Lanka is a very not an easy away trip, right? I mean,
His away record
how many teams have won in Sri Lanka in the last 10 years?
Lot of teams. I'll say England has won. England, which travels very poorly, they have won. Bangladesh has drawn a series in Sri Lanka.
Yes,
Pakistan, which cannot even win in their own home, have won in Sri Lanka. What more do you want?
No, Sri Lanka was going through a very bad phase then. But
Forget the bad phase. Pakistan has won in Sri Lanka in this same WTC cycle. Don't say that Kane Williamson is facing a very tough Sri Lanka team. It's the same Sri Lanka team.
Gaul is not an easy place for batsmen. Galle is not an easy place for
Okay.
batsmen.
Now, after two heavy losses, Bangladesh is now down to number 7. What is the WTC ambition for Bangladesh?
Well, the primary objective should be winning against South Africa. South Africa, for whatever the reason is, the in subcontinental condition and in Bangladesh, when we are having Miraj and others, some good, so there will be Taijul and probably Naim Hassan if Sakib cannot play. So, so there will be spin heavy pitch definitely, because there is no point putting some, you know, fast bowling or some, sporting pitch over there, because you need points in the Test Championship cycle, and more importantly, you need wins under your belt. Uh, Whatever will happen in West Indies, it's out of our hand, because West Indies will prepare as per their own way. But in South Africa, and the way South Africa has their record in subcontinent against even against Bangladesh, we probably will look forward to win both the test matches. The objective not will be something like to playing in the finals or something like that, but objective will be getting a good position, that probably finishing on 5 or 4 if possible. I believe there should be a significant improvement, because in the previous two World Test Championship cycle, we have just one win in every cycle, and already this year, this time we had 3 wins under our belt, and another couple of Test match win, or 3 probably, is if we can manage to win against West Indies. That will be tremendous improvement in terms of the performance improvement in this format, because against India, the performance is very poor, but that can happen because you are playing against India in India.
I very strongly believe that Bangladesh will win 2-0 against South Africa. I have seen the South African batting lineup. They cannot play spin. The only player who can play spin is Aiden Markram. But even then, he is, a middling player. They have some good middle order players like David Bedingham and others, but they are good pace players. They do not play spin at all. So if you play the traditional Mirpur pitch, which will help your batsman, which will negate the bowling of somebody like a Rabada. Incidentally, I was talking to Bikiron. I said that Rabada is far ahead of Pat Cummins because he has an insane strike rate, and his strike rate is even better than Cummins in Australia. But that's a different topic. Rabada will come at you very hard. If you can hold on Rabada and, like you say, Maharaj, I believe Bangladesh will be able to blank the South Africans 2-0. You actually have that. And now that you have a pace attack, you can very well go and perform good in West Indies. I very well believe that if you actually believe it, your team can actually win in West Indies. West Indies is also a very poor team. Your star players have to stand in the front and take ownership. Bikiron, Sri Lanka surprised everybody with that 2-0 win. Two questions. What does that give to the Sri Lankan push to be in the WTC final? And second point is New Zealand now coming to India. Well, how does that equation now change, given that they have lost 2-0?
If you look from the Sri Lanka's perspective, then they have the legit chance to qualify for the final, because you know that they have only the two series left, I guess. One versus South Africa away, and another one is the Australia at home. These are the two series that will decide their fate, and that Australia series is actually the most crucial series of them. Actually, they are improving since the Kamindu is in the some dream form of his life, where he equaled the Don Bradman's record of the fastest to score 1,000 runs. Pravat is actually very good at the goal, and their spin attack is not that bad. That Nishan Perez guy was also decent enough. So I think the 2-0 to Australia is actually kind of a big task, but still it's not impossible. If you have the two matches at goal, then it's not impossible, but it's very, very tough. And if they won actually 2-0 versus Australia, and somehow they beat South Africa by 1-1, they drawn the series by 1-1 in the South Africa, then I think they have some legit chances to qualify for the final. But it's still a long way to go. But if they actually beat Australia by 2-0, then anything can happen. And from the New Zealand perspective, I don't think that they have any chance to qualify for the final. They can
No,
at
but what
best.
about their prospect now for their trip to India after losing to Sri Lanka?
Actually, morale will be absolutely at the down, and they will be very much down and out. But still, if they push above their weights and all that, then they can actually draw a match in India. But I don't think that anything less than the 2-0 is not happening.
Okay, Gaurav, one question to you. New Zealand is coming for a 3-test series against India. One word answer only. Who will score more runs, Kohli or Kane Williamson?
Kohli.
Okay, thank you. Let's focus on the T20 series between Bangladesh and India. Last time Bangladesh played a T20 series, they won the first match, but after that lost two. I remember Mushfiqur Rahim was playing when that one. What are your expectations in this 3-match series, Muntakim Dada?
I'm not expecting anything good for Bangladesh in T20 cricket, especially playing against the world champions in their own home soil. And they'll be playing with some down morale because there will be player changes. The white ball players will join the team, but I believe the morale will be down because Captain Shanto especially is due some good runs for long in the T20 format. His uh, selection in the team is questionable because a lot of fans actually demands him excluding him from the T20 team and forget about handing the captaincy. I don't know who will be the first bowlers to be trusted with because we have a long history of expensing a lot of runs against good teams. The first bowlers do not know how to change their the plans accordingly because there will be no doubt that India will play as T20 demands. India will prepare the run festive wickets, so there will be demand that the bowlers who can actually bowl in the wicket taking formula, probably wicket is the best option to stop the flow of the runs. I don't know who the bowlers are whom we can depend. Miraj will be playing in T20 format after a long, long while. I don't know about his form in the white ball cricket, especially in the T20 format. The batters will be out of form because since the T20 World Cup, our top order is very poor. So if they can manage to win one game, that will be a bonus. But I am expecting a 3-0 loss from Bangladesh.
Bikiran, what is your expectation from the India team?
I think India will play a lot of debutants. We'll see multiple debutants in this T20 series. Harshit Rana got a call up, Mayank Yadav got a call up, and I think Nitish Kumar Reddy also got a call up. So I think they will play these three debutants. All of them will get the cap. Maybe not in the same match, but in this series. And I think India will win this series by 3-0.
Do you think it is a necessity to have a T20 series in such a packed test calendar?
That's the demand of the modern day game, I guess. So modern day market and all those things. I mean, you need money also to run the game, right? So you need T20 games. I mean, although meaningless to be honest, because there are no T20 World Cup scheduled for the next year. You already have one this year, so next World Cup going to be 2026. So lot of time left, lot of experiments will be done. I can see that with the Indian team selection.
One quick thing, Muntakim Dada, I have to and to our all our listeners, I want to share that it might have gone unnoticed day before yesterday, or actually yesterday, because of all the India versus Bangladesh, excitement. But one 13-year-old Vaibhav Suryavanshi became the youngest centurion in under-19 cricket. He was playing for India under-19 and against Australia under-19. He scored 158 balls at 13
Was
years.
the unofficial test, between the
Unofficial
under
test.
19 players. Yeah.
13 years and 188 days. Do you know whose record he broke? Do you know
Is it
whose
Brian Lara?
No. He broke the record of one Najmul Hossain Shanto, who was
Oh,
14 years old when he scored his century at under 19 level. And also at an insane strike rate, 158 balls. So I think that's where we will finish.
And also before we finish, there's a big news coming from Pakistan that Babar Azam has resigned from white ball captaincy.
Oh wow.
It's been a pleasure bringing this episode to you. If you like this episode, please like and share it. Please also subscribe or follow our podcast.